Hi, John.
Hi, Kat.
How are you?
I am so well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. It would be weird if you didn't ask, because it actually would be rude if I asked you and you didn't ask me.
Yeah. Does that happen to you sometimes? I think it happens to me once in a while.
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah. So anyway, what are we doing here?
Oh, we are recording a podcast.
Word.
What is the name of the podcast?
My mistake,
What do
bitches.
we...
No, it's actually just my mistake.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And what do we like? What's like the thing that we do? Like, why are we doing it?
Why is a big question, but we talk about our mistakes, right?
We do,
yeah. And sometimes now we talk to other people about their mistakes.
Yeah.
And then even more recent an occurrence is that we sometimes talk about other people's mistakes that happened in the past.
Right.
Yes.
We don't like to talk about other people's mistakes except if it's in the past. And if it's like
it's in
public,
the past or they're public figures.
Public record essentially.
I want everyone to know I'm not going to call it journalistic because we are not journalists.
Nope.
Don't ever mistake us for that.
Nope.
We are entertainers. But we do have ethical standards. And,
yes.
Yeah. And
I mean, they're low.
Well,
but we have standards.
I cannot agree with you there.
Okay.
So far this show has been mostly confessional. We talk about our own stuff.
Yep.
And when we talk about other people, we use fake names.
We do.
Yeah. So hopefully at this point, the only people who could be hurt by anything that we've said are us. And we have gone to great pains to do that. And we've made it clear that we're good people because we feel bad about the things that we've done that have hurt other people.
We do.
And sometimes we apologize to those people. And, I don't really, it was suggested to me by a mistaker from the great state of Washington that perhaps we should have a show about amends. And I said, that's very interesting, but not very funny. So we probably aren't going to do that. But, we could. It could happen.
Let's put it on our list.
Yes, let's do it.
And, maybe that's something down the road that we can explore. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it would be personally satisfying.
I mean,
maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be on a case by case basis, I think, because it's pretty rare. I think when I've hurt someone's feelings where I haven't also had my feelings hurt by that person. This is mostly I'm talking about ex-girlfriends and things like people like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a thing. This has gone way off track, hasn't it? This is the My Mistake podcast
with John
and Kat.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you. Please, if you're listening, it would be really great if you would write us a review, rate us, tell your friends about us, tell your therapist about us.
Yes.
They might find us interesting, I don't know if they if there's a scout for therapists where they're like, ooh, I want to get that person as my patient, but I feel like I might be high in the rankings there. I might be a first round draft pick for therapists. It's possible. Maybe not. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I mean, that's an interesting idea for a TV show.
Yeah. It's okay, Shark Tank, right?
Right.
But people come up and tell you what their mental illness is.
Yes.
And then you decide if you want to invest in them by trying to cure them, trying to make them healthier.
And what do we call it? It's not Shark Tank. It's
Shrink Tank.
Shrink Tank. Oh,
it's
come
totally
on.
Shrink Tank. I mean, it's right there.
Did you write this before the show?
Just now? No, I did not. As I think you well know.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, Shrink Tank.
Anyway.
Yes.
So, you've done a hysterical Re-Stork.
I have.
And now it's my turn.
Yes.
We'll see if this makes it to air.
I can't. It's not like we have just episodes just piled up around the room. So
I know we're getting.
Odds are it's gonna get out there.
Yeah.
This is in people's ears right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now
let's just do it.
Tell me something.
So let me just start out by saying I wanted to give a very special shout out to Wikipedia.
Go Wikipedia.
The city. Here's a spoiler. The City of Vancouver website.
Okay.
And the Vancouver Sun.
Well, all right.
Without those sources, this next bit of entertainment would not be happening.
I thought we made it pretty clear we weren't journalists.
Yeah, I just giving people their proper credit.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
All right.
John, did you know?
Nope.
That Vancouver, British Columbia, has for thousands of years been a place of meeting, trade, and settlement.
I cannot truthfully say that I was aware that it was a place of those three things.
Well, it is.
Okay.
The presence of people in what we know today to be British Columbia dates back between 8,000 to 10,000 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
It's a long time. But let me tell you this. The first Europeans to explore the area were a Spanish captain by the name of Jose Maria Navarez in 1791. He had a lady middle name.
They did
Maria.
that. Sometimes they do that.
Do you think he got in fights in school?
Nope. If he made it to, if this is the kind of guy, unless he was running away from the bullies, all the way to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, from España, España. I kind of doubt that he was that much of a wuss.
Possibly.
Yeah, probably a tough guy.
Along with him, the other European explorer, British naval captain by the name of George Vancouver in 1792.
See, it's always the white man taking all the credit, right?
But this area would not be settled by Europeans until almost a century later in 1862.
Okay.
So the first non-native settlement in the city limits of Vancouver was in about 1862 at the McCleary's farm in the vicinity of what is now the Southlands area.
I'm going to guess it was founded by the McClearys.
I think that's a fair credit.
You know, I have amazing powers of deduction.
You're a very smart man. So the city grew rapidly following completion of the Canadian Pacific Railway, or the CPR, which is kind of funny.
I like it.
It was the transcontinental line from eastern Canada, allowing for continuous rail service in the late 1880s. Game changer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go across the country.
It's a pretty, I don't know if everybody knows, but America's hat is a very wide country. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
You're not allowed to
Sorry,
say that.
Leah.
Leah, that was not my idea.
Sorry, Canada is a very, very wide country.
It is wide.
It could, yeah.
Well, and Leah actually rode her bike across it.
She did, which is a really, really impressive feat.
It is. There's actually a podcast about that.
It's
called Leah's Cycling Solo.
Yeah.
And I'm so behind on editing it.
Well,
mainly because of you, John.
I feel like that's a good thing for me.
It is. We're going to move on because that's going to start a fight at my house.
Right ahead.
Lumbering was the early industry along the Burrard Inlet, now the site of Vancouver Seaport.
Let me get this straight. People got paid just to walk around in a really goofy way. They're lumbering.
Lumbering around.
I'm just lumbering over here.
Yes.
Okay, good.
The very first sawmill began operating in 1863 at Moodyville. It was a planned settlement built by American lumber entrepreneur Sewell Sue Moody. It's a boy named Sue.
All right, so that's
him and Maria should have got together.
Yeah, Sue and Maria. I wouldn't want to take those dudes down.
So around that time, John, a former river pilot named John Jack Dayton set up a small 24-foot by 12-foot saloon on the beach about a mile west of the sawmill in 1867.
Okay.
Basically, he set it up at the very end of the mill property because there was dry policy on the property.
Sure.
So he's like, I'm going to put my bar right here.
Just on the edge, so as soon as everybody gets paid, where do they go?
This place was very popular.
Yeah.
And a well-worn trail was made between the mill and his saloon. Mm-hmm. And it was what is now known today as Alexander Street in Vancouver.
I see.
His nickname was Gassy Jack.
Okay, and what's the origin of that nickname,
Well,
Kat?
because he was quite a talker. He was gassy.
Hot air. Yeah, see, this is the thing. You call somebody gassy these days, you're thinking about the other end.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted you to guess.
Yeah.
Held that back a minute.
This guy could light a fart like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, Gassy
Jack.
Jack.
Gassy Jack. I tell you.
So a number of men began living near the saloon, and the settlement quickly became known as Gassy's Town, which is now shortened to Gastown.
All right.
In 1870, the colonial government of British Columbia took notice of the growing settlement and sent a surveyor to lay out an official town site named Granville in honor of the British Colonel Secretary Lord Granville. Who cares about that guy?
So we got Granville, we got Gastown.
Yeah, Granville and Gastown.
Yep. I sense a rivalry already.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So the new town site was situated on a natural harbor, and for this reason, it was selected by the Canadian Pacific Railway as their terminus.
Okay.
So the CPR president, William Van Horn, and you need to remember all these names.
Okay.
Decided that Granville was not such a great name for the new terminus because of the seedy associations with Gastown.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know what? Let's call it Vancouver, because people in Toronto and Montreal have heard of Vancouver Island, but they don't know what Granville is.
Wait, here's my question though. Right? It was Vancouver and Jose Maria Navarro. Who was?
Jose Maria Navarro. Let's go with
Navarro. Okay, so
sure.
It's Dave's cousin.
Yeah.
But they didn't name it Navarro.
No.
But
Why would they do that?
These were co-equal explorers who discovered this place, right?
They weren't.
They were not.
They're about a year apart. Jose was first, though.
So yeah, like this is the thing. The white guy somehow always gets their name on the place.
I mean, even in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm like, they're like, because Canada, if they ever did have slavery as an institution, it would have been much less so. It probably would have been people bringing their slaves to Canada from the U.S.
It's a good question.
I don't know for sure.
I don't either.
But let's just say not a lot of black people in Canada, probably. It seems like now there's been a great deal of immigration to Canada recently from different places. Yeah.
Well, I do know that the Underground Railroad ended in Canada. So that's where they were trying to get to, but I don't know if slavery was a thing in Canada, when it was abolished.
Yeah.
But it was
I feel like it probably was never an institution. It might just not have been completely outlawed. But yeah, I mean, and the
so many questions.
Yeah. Underground Railroad went through Indiana, where I'm from.
Great.
And a lot of it ended in Ohio. I think there were a lot of Quakers there who were abolitionists. And
that's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about stuff. Why don't you go on?
I like stuff.
Stuff's good. Tell me more about Vancouver.
Let me. I can't wait. Under its new name, the city was incorporated on April 6th, 1886. 2 months later, on June 13th, a spectacular blaze destroyed most of the city along the swampy shores of Burrard, don't know if I'm saying that right, Inlet in 25 minutes.
Well, it sounds like there was a lot of gas in this town. and as a great character on one of my favorite TV shows says, bad gas travels fast in a small town.
It's pretty good.
I'm going to let people try to figure out what show that is. If you know, let us know that you know.
Let us know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Great Vancouver Fire, as it is now known as, turns out it was actually beneficial because of it, as the city rebuilt, it had more modern water, electricity, and streetcar systems.
This is a pretty common theme.
Is it?
In history, where there's a great fire or a big earthquake, things get built to more modern standards, because it's really tough. If you want to build to modern standards, like, you can't be like, well, you have to tear your house down. So you let God do it, and then it's okay because it's already been torn down.
Well, and it also just sounds like it was kind of like a shanty town. Like, these guys live over there. We're going to make a little town there. And, what's over here? Oh, we'll build some house. Like, it's not really a thought out town.
Right.
Like most places.
It just kind of grew that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this allows you to plan for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Let's talk about the police department.
Okay.
At the first meeting of the Vancouver City Council, Vancouver's first police officer, Chief Constable John Stewart, was appointed on May 10th, 1886.
Okay.
No relation. I don't know, actually. It could be related to John Stewart.
I'm going to be really ignorant right now and tell you I don't know who John Stewart is.
John Stewart?
Oh, Jon Stewart. Yes. Yes.
What was I say? What did I say?
You said John Stewart.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to save my ass for not recognizing.
You're right.
Yeah.
I pronounced it with the different spelling.
You did.
Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon.
You got me. I was trying to fool you.
No, I mean, he hasn't disappeared completely.
No, he's around.
It's because he doesn't do the Daily Show anymore.
No, he's still a guy.
I know who John Stewart is.
Well, you do now.
I know who John Stewart is. Tell me.
All right, don't get all defensive.
Whatever.
Just because you didn't know who John Stewart was.
Sometimes I don't know stuff. Now you know that.
What time is it? Hold on.
Yep.
We'll get Michelle in here. John just said
sometimes I don't know stuff.
That's weird.
Well, in the age of the internet, you have to admit that you don't know stuff sometimes. Before the internet, people just thought I knew everything.
Of course.
Because I could lie convincingly enough that,
Those were the golden days for you.
It was. Yeah. Pre-internet. That's why I'm planning a terrorist plot to just blow up the internet.
So, what?
Nothing. I don't know what.
Wait, what?
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a month later, after
Yeah.
John Stewart became the first police officer in Vancouver,
Yep.
that was the morning of the Great Fire of 1886. And so,
Wow.
yeah.
That's like training day, but like even worse.
Shitty.
It's just
So the mayor appointed Jackson Abray, V.W. Haywood, and John McLaren as special constables. And with uniforms from Seattle and badges made from American coins, these four bastards became Vancouver's first police department based out of the City Hall tent at the foot of Carroll Street.
wow.
Like, hey, you got
You just said a lot of things.
You got a quarter? That's your badge.
That's your badge. How do you like put some bubble gum on the back of it and stick it to your Seattle-made uniform?
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And by 1904, the department had grown to 31 members and occupied a new police building at 200 Cordova Street.
Okay.
So this is a relatively new city. They have now all this new. They've rebuilt, right? So
You got a shit ton of cops.
They have a bunch more cops. Relatively new infrastructure.
Yeah.
Things are looking good in Vancouver.
Uh-oh. I mean, well, that's. I think a lot of our mistakers probably share this with me. When things are looking good, when things are looking good, they're usually just going to get better. Like it's
Only can only get better.
yeah.
So Vancouver at the time had their own newspaper. Mm-hmm. It was called, actually there's two, but the one we're going to talk about is the Vancouver Daily World.
Okay.
It was founded in 1888 by John McLagan, let's say.
No, you say. I'm not saying.
And when he died in 1901, his widow, Sarah Ann McLagan, became the first woman publisher of a daily newspaper in Canada. She also became managing editor, editorial writer, proofreader, and an occasional reporter.
Take that, patriarchy.
She sounds awesome.
She does.
So, under her tutelage, the the Vancouver Daily World is on the scene. Okay,
Yeah.
keeping that in mind.
Right.
Let's just think about what the journey that we've just been on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went from Gassy Jack's worn path
Yeah.
from the mill to the tavern
Yeah.
to a city that burned down,
Yeah.
then to a new city with a bunch of cops.
Yeah.
And now we've got the first female, like, awesome newspaper editor, owner, reporter. Yeah,
Things are great.
they are.
So, in 1909, Vancouver gets its very first motorized ambulance, and it's under the control of the police department
Okay.
for some reason.
Well, it's early days here. We don't have paramedics and
Yeah, there's not
Yeah.
like a, I don't know.
honestly, back then, the doctor who was going to see you
Yeah.
at the end of your ambulance trip probably doesn't know that much more than the guy who put you in the ambulance back at wherever you screwed up and and hurt yourself.
Point.
I'm just saying.
So this ambulance came from Belfast.
Okay.
That's in Ireland.
You don't say.
And the vehicle was brought into town by Frank Darling and Company, which was like a machinery dealer.
Okay.
So they're like, hey guys, you should buy this ambulance, police department. And so they did. And it cost $5,200.
Wow.
And it was at the time described as a thing of beauty.
Okay. What year is this again?
This is in 1909.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And these are all quotes. It is driven by a 6-cylinder, 30 horsepower engine placed directly under the driver's seat so as to minimize vibration. This is all from the article.
Seems like the driver's going to be getting some vibration there. I don't know about you.
This is an article taken from the Vancouver Daily World,
Okay.
our favorite newspaper. The body is constructed of the finest English ash, with bagwood panels and highly varnished. The interior contains 2 stretchers, John.
2.
The
Count 'em.
The upper one being a folded, rabbeted frame. The lower stretcher is fitted with 14-inch rubber tire wheels and elliptical springs and axle, enabling the bed to be wheeled over any floor without vibration.
Amazing.
High fucking tech.
I'm saying.
Sounds great.
I mean, if I were to be wheeled in a gurney across any surface, I would want. It seems like vibration was a real big problem at the time. Like because in both the ambulance and the gurney, we have mentioned that great care has been taken to minimize vibration.
Vibration was a problem, John.
I don't know. It can be a solution. I think. I'm just saying.
I guess it depends on.
It depends on how it's applied.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
So this is taken from an article, again published in our favorite newspaper, the Vancouver Daily World,
which is run by Ms. McGlagan. McGlagan.
Oh no!
Hey lady.
No.
Hey lady, newspaper lady.
Lady with the newspaper.
With the newspaper and the guys with the. Oh, we're fully off the rails.
Oh boy. John, pay attention.
Okay, sorry. Like I'm not paying attention. I knew her name was freaking McGlagan.
You're paying more attention than I am.
I don't have a screen in front of me, baby. I'm winging. I'm out here.
Hey, baby. Hey, come on. What do you got?
I'm suddenly rat packing it.
I fucking love it.
It's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
On October 6, 1909, Charles Cocking. Take a second.
Did Cocking know McGagan? No, never mind.
I'm cocking the McGlagan.
All right. Yep.
Hey-o. I'm going to do that again so that you've got the name out of the. You've laughed about the name.
Yes.
We're gonna move forward.
Okay.
On October 6, 1909, Charles Cocking took Vancouver's new city police auto ambulance out for its first test drive and promptly killed a pedestrian.
Well, at least, if you have to be struck by a vehicle, it's great that it's like this super modern ambulance.
This is all going to go very well.
Yes. Did it kill the pedestrian or did it?
Let me continue.
Oh, please.
Again, taken from our favorite newspaper.
Indeed.
These are quotes, John.
The Vancouver Daily World.
These are
run
quotes.
by Ms. McGlagan, whose first name I don't remember.
Out for a trial spin at noon, Vancouver's new city police ambulance ran over and almost instantly killed Mr. C.F. Case, a wealthy citizen of Austin, Texas.
I have to say, in terms of how quickly you're going to be killed, almost instantly is not good enough.
It's not quite enough.
If I'm definitely going to be killed, I would prefer it to be instant. I'm like, I don't think that's asking too much.
Case was crossing Pender Street at the Granville corner when the heavy automobile, having dodged between two streetcars, which were proceeding in opposite directions, struck him in the back. Still in quotes.
It struck him in the back. No, it struck him everywhere. It's just it came.
But it was from the back,
from behind.
Yeah.
Yes.
This fucker didn't see this coming.
No.
Again in quotes, the auto ambulance knocked him down, and a wheel passing over his skull injured him so severely that he died in a few minutes.
It injured him. The wheel passing over his head, it injured him. And this thing, we already know this thing's made out of like 17 whole trees and it's got a 30 horsepower engine with 6 cylinders. This is not a light vehicle.
It is not.
I don't think it injured him. I think it was essentially a Gallagher bit with a watermelon and a sledgehammer. Like that was how this went. It injured him so severely.
According to this article, the victim was dragged by the car 50 or 100 yards.
Oh,
there's a big difference between 50 or 100. Oh, no.
So basically, they're painting the road with brains at this point. It's just, wow.
He was dragged by the car 50 or 100 yards along Pender Street before the car could be stopped. The track being marked by pools of blood.
See, I called it. I have perfect visualization of everything happening here.
Hundreds of men and again, this is all in the article.
Sure.
Hundreds of men and women saw the dreadful affair and turned pale and sick as the man was rolled along under the wheels and done to death.
McGlagan pulls no punches. I'm just saying, okay? Did she actually write the article or is it just in her paper?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Wrote it.
All right.
The spouting blood adding to the ghastliness of the accident. There's fucking blood everywhere.
Yeah. Like everything that used to be inside this guy is now 50 or 100 yards spread out on the street.
Poor son of a bitch. Keese died at the scene.
Well,
he died. Shocking.
The scene, if it has to be at least 100 yards. because
quite a
somewhere
scene.
within that 100 yards, he died.
His body was then loaded into the ambulance
Boom.
and taken to the undertaker.
Yeah, they didn't go. There was like, yeah. Well, should we take this guy to the hospital? He doesn't have a head. So I'm thinking we don't waste the doctor's time. Let's take him to see the coroner.
I can just see two guys just like, hands on their hips, like, he appears to be dead.
No, I'm gonna just throw this out there. Maybe the fact that this guy is headless means that we don't take him to the hospital anymore.
I mean, we should definitely put him in the back of this ambulance, though, right?
Well, yeah, just scoop him up and put him in there. You can take 3 trips. Yeah. This is gruesome.
So Cocking, the driver slash...
Yeah, this is too much. Okay. I was going to say the whole setup of the history of the founding of Vancouver, bit dry. Things have taken a turn, Kat. Things have taken a turn.
So Cocking, the driver slash murderer. That was mine. I added that.
I like it.
He worked for Darley and Company, if you'll remember.
Oh, which brought the ambulance from Belfast.
And they say he was an experienced driver.
Like, what was an experienced driver at a time when there were probably like 3 cars in the...
He was the only guy in town who had driven a car.
There you go. So he's an experienced driver.
It appeared that to the spectators that to a certain extent, he was being caught in the position of being caught in between the 2 cars on Granville Street. For the record, not the best sentence. Like, not a very skilled piece of journalism. But that's okay.
That. But there were 2 streetcars. He dodged between them. He was being
one was
reckless.
going this way, one's going that way, and he's like threading the needle.
Right, and like it was a no-win.
Yes,
he either had to hit the brakes and get hit by possibly both of these streetcars,
right, sandwiched,
or screw that guy. Yeah. Let's paint the road with him.
And in order to avoid the accident to the machine, he pushed forward quickly over the crossing to the eastward. I don't know what any of that, like over the crossing to the eastward.
It's the crossing is the intersection.
Very old timey.
And he's going east on whichever street of
The auto was a very heavy affair and struck the man fairly in the back.
I love that things were affairs. Things were either affairs or concerns. It's a going concern.
Indeed.
It's a growing concern.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's all those things.
Yeah.
So then at the City Hall meeting,
a
couple months later, December of 1909, the World reported that Vancouver's chief of police, Rufus G. Chamberlain, absolutely refused to have foisted on his department such an automobile as the one purchased from F. Darling and Company to be used as an auto ambulance. I mean, with good reason.
But wait, they already have it, right?
And he's like, take it the fuck back.
Oh,
we're not using this.
Take this death mobile and yeah.
Further test drives, which don't appear to have resulted in more fatalities, have found the ambulance had defects that had to be remedied before it could be put into use. So it was never put into use. They never used it. That was it.
So what were these defects that were like, yes.
Let me tell you.
Tell me about it.
2 of the gears ran very noisily and unevenly, where the specifications called for a machine that should be as noiseless as possible and caused a very noticeable vibration. They do not like vibration.
No, I'm telling you, the number one
enemy.
Like, you would think that in 1909 there wasn't like the Spanish flu or any of the. It's vibration.
Yeah.
Vibration is public enemy number 1, and we're going to stamp it out.
We hate it.
We do. I mean, I will say that having gone through some schooling. In engineering, vibration is very it's
bad, right?
Yeah. Well, it's saying something is out of balance.
Got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, the springs of the machine were found to be inadequate to distribute the jolts properly, with the result that it jolted about at the slightest obstruction on the street, seriously impairing its usefulness as an ambulance wagon. So you're like on a fucking ride.
I'm going to say that I drove a 1974 Cadillac sedan DeVille that had no rear shocks. It only had springs. And, in a pinch, you could still... I drove it to San Francisco and back.
Sure. But
which I want to talk about at some point.
Imagine you're laying in the back because you just broke your neck. Yeah. And now you got to drive to the hospital. You're like, the vibrations aren't helping.
Well, see, okay.
The jumping and the jolting.
So it sounds like they had the opposite problem. The springs were probably a little too tight In mine, they were kind of loose, so it was very. It was like a bounce house.
Yeah.
And if you took a turn really hard, the springs might bounce the back wheels right up off the ground. I'm just saying. Not that happened to me.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
Some of the members of the police and fire committee were of the opinion that the machine should not be accepted. The ambulance was a little late for that guy, though.
I'm like, they already accepted it, man.
Accepted it. It was soon returned to the manufacturer without ever actually going into action. And in July 1910, the city replaced the dud ambulance with an American auto ambulance similar to vehicles in use in Seattle and Portland. And
So it was just the fact that this thing was from Belfast that was the problem.
It's the worst part. And that is the story of Vancouver's first ambulance.
How about that?
It was a death machine.
It was. I feel like there were a lot of details there.
I wanted to paint a picture.
I love it. I
wanted to take you on a journey, and I wanted to slap you in the face with all the blood.
With a giant, like, mayhem soaked
skull crushing.
Yeah. Well, I think with those being your goals when you were setting out, I'm going to go with this has been a complete success.
Woohoo!
You did that thing. Woo!
I did it.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
It's exciting.
It is. So that's the story of the first ambulance in Vancouver,
British Columbia.
In Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Yes.
So wow, all right,
Yeah, that happened.
that did. It's to poor Mr. What's really bad is I don't remember the name of the victim.
Well, obviously, John, old Mr.
Mr. Flat Skull is that guy's name.
Mr. C.F. Case.
Case, that's right.
Or Keese.
Keese.
Keese or Case.
All right, how's this spelled?
Keiss.
I'm going with Keiss.
Keiss?
Keiss.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Keiss.
I have no idea.
But
sure.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably said it every single way.
Sure.
In the thing.
No, I think you said case. You were pretty good about saying case. And actually, EI, I don't know.
Case.
Somebody out there surely is familiar with Mr. Not even a little.
I mean, I don't know.
We do, however, have listeners in British Columbia.
Oh.
We do.
We do, according to the map.
According to the map,
Anyway,
so yeah. All
so
right.
if you have an idea, dear listener, for a hysterical Mistork,
Word.
Reach out to us. Give us an idea. We'll maybe we'll do it.
Yeah. If there's something you would like to hear covered in the inimitable style of Kat and John.
Yes.
Yeah. Let us know what that is, especially if it's something you maybe haven't heard on another podcast. Although with the number of podcasts now, it's like it's approaching infinity.
Yeah, it's tough.
So basically everything that's ever been happened has now been talked about on at least 3 podcasts.
Yes, but then, we will do our version of it.
That's right.
Which is a unique take.
Bring our own special spin of 2 people who live in LA and have
talking to microphones.
I'd
like to think so.
Yeah.
We have our own.
We definitely have our own take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And if you wanted to send that idea to us, John,
you could send it to mymistakepodcast@gmail.com.
We're also on Facebook.
We are as My Mistake, the podcast page.
That's it.
That's it. And we're also on the Twitter.
Yes, the Twitter.
And we are at My Mistake 17.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And we're on the Instagrams, but we haven't been on the Instagrams enough, but there's some exciting stuff in the works on the Instagram.
Some very exciting photos are coming.
We're going to be Insta-ing.
We are.
It's true.
So go follow that. But do us a favor. If you're listening right now, while you're listening, go to whatever application you're listening to us on. Subscribe to this podcast.
Do that.
Leave a rating.
Do that too.
And write a review.
That would be awesome.
It really helps us.
Yes, it does. And then bug everybody you know. If you enjoy this, like if you don't enjoy this, I don't know why you're still listening at this point because we're almost at the end.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really strange. You're like a masochist, right?
Or you're a completist.
Sure.
You can't help yourself.
You just have to okay, I started this. I need to finish it.
Got to see it through.
Yep. Yep.
I respect it.
Well, good. Then you know what? If you're that way, you need to listen to every episode of this that there ever will be. Otherwise, you will not have completed it.
Indeed.
You will not have done the side challenges.
John, that's very clever.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well, I'm locking people in.
You are.
Yep. It's addiction psychology. Oh my.
So tell everybody that you've ever met to listen to this podcast.
Yes, please do.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, John, I think it's that time.
I believe the old clock on the wall says it's time to go.
But before we go, we're going to leave you with this. FMP.
Always.
And forever.
Never stop.
Don't even think about stopping.
Keep going.
Please don't stop.
Don't stop.
I don't know.